project is an Erasmus Plus project. It is developed during 36 months between September 2018 and August 2021, and it is included within Key Action 2, Cooperation for Innovation and the Sales of Good Practices, Strategic Partnership for Adult Education. Greek Federation of Alzheimer Disease-Related Disorder is the project coordinator, and there are also 4 partners: Tsaladou from Greece, University of Western Macedonia, Anziani Non Solo from Italy, and Società Habilitas from Romania. The main aims of this project is to develop and to test serious games acting positively on dementia symptoms. The games have been developed through workshops organized in Italy, Romania, and Greece, involving elderly people with dementia, young people, caregivers, and health care professionals. In more details, the BRIDGE project is a unique and innovative project because it focuses in games as innovative therapy. It involves people with dementia. It promotes the inclusion of people with dementia through their participation in workshops and the approach of playing with their community outside the medical therapeutic facilities. Young volunteers' active involvement contribute to the bridging the intergenerational gap and increase of volunteering in actions concerning third age people. And also, this project will develop an e-training platform, including ICT solutions addressed to people with dementia. The main outcomes of this project is to increase the awareness of young people about dementia, to empower generation bonds through playful intergenerational activities and workshops, to improve awareness and motivation regarding the importance and possible role of serious games as tools aimed at improving the quality of life of people with dementia. Serious games. On what are the serious games? These games have been designed for a primary purpose than other entertainment. It has been shown that serious games can lead to various benefits for people with dementia and moderate dementia, including mental and physical stimulation, social interaction, opportunities for learning and engagement, ability to challenge the stigma associated with dementia. The main methodology that we follow in this project, in the first steps we created a methodological guide in which we include all the steps for creating intergenerational workshops. Then we implement these co-creation game workshops, and the final results of these workshops were 8 prototype games. And then we tested these 8 prototype games in a different kind of workshops. And now we are in the final steps in which we try to make improvements in these final prototype games and to create the final platform in which we will include also these 8 prototypes games. The main research results, as I said before, we have finished with the first step, the methodological guide, and then with the several games prototypes, which include the 8 final serious games. And now we are in the last step in which we create the learning plan. Some more details about the first step and the methodological guide. This guide includes detailed suggestions about the workshop design, and also it analyzes analyze the met and unmet needs of people with dementia and their caregivers, as well as healthcare professionals, in order to create key points and objectives of the workshops. It includes key points and objectives for the prototypes of the series games that are going to be developed through the brief workshops. This guide determines the key contents, methodologies, and tools needed for creating and improving the critical competencies of people with dementia through the exploitation of games, and it reflects the national needs and specificities as good as possible by evaluation in a country-based analysis. After the methodological guide, we implement the co-creation game workshops. In these workshops, people with dementia and their carers, along with young volunteers, game designers, and healthcare professionals meet up and develop their own prototype games. This is an enjoyable way to act on the symptoms of people with dementia and also to improve their quality of life. These intergenerational workshops enable social inclusion of people with dementia by being involved actively in game design that meet their needs. Young volunteers' active involvement contribute to the bridging the intergenerational gap and to increase of volunteering in actions concerning seniors. Also, the main objectives of these workshops are to enhance knowledge about dementia, create awareness of the importance and possibilities of shared games as a tool for improving quality of life and well-being, change public views and break the stigma that our society currently has on dementia, and raise awareness of the capabilities of people living with this condition, engage in games that promote mental and cognitive stimulation, master new and sometimes complex skills by young people, game designers, people with mild cognitive impairment or dementia, and play with fun and enhance mood. In these workshops, the number of participants are 3 to 6 people with dementia, 3 to 6 carers, 6 to 9 young volunteers, 3 to 6 game designers, 2 to 3 healthcare professionals. And we divided these people in mixed groups. In these slides, you can see the main steps for developing these two-day co-creation game workshops. I will not read these steps. You can find these steps and all the methodology for these workshops in the methodological guide on our website. Some results of the 3 co-creation workshops that we implemented in 3 different countries. 74 people finally took part, 24 people with dementia, 7 carers, 21 young people, 16 health care professionals, and 6 game designers. In this table, you can take a look on participants' characteristics of these 3 co-creation workshops and some results of their feedback. Most of the participants agreed that these workshops offered them benefits. Also, people with dementia, their care satisfied the cooperation with young people. They felt that the young people and the healthcare professionals and the game designers supporting them in this workshop. And also, they underline that it is important to organize similar workshops. Also, caregivers mentioned that they discovered the existence of games as an innovative tool, acting on cognitive and behavioral symptoms of dementia. And also the workshop supported young people to obtain transferable skills in communication, creativity, critical thinking, and social competencies. Many young participants stated that Through this interaction, they feel more compassionate towards dementia and third age people. Essentially, they are able to better attend to the needs of older people with dementia. The final results of these three co-creation workshops in these three different countries are 4 physical games and 4 digital games, and you can find these games in our website projectbridge.eu. I will share with you some more details about each game. The first game, The Blooming Flowers, is a cooperative game where the target of the players is to create during the game 5 buckets from 4 to 8 flowers altogether cooperatively. Can be played individually or in team in various levels of difficulties by adjusting the game's rules in the abilities of people with dementia. The second game, called Specialité, it is a cooperative board game where the main goal of the players is to create together 3 recipes, 1 breakfast, 1 main dish, and 1 dessert, or more, and remember old recipes as well as exchanging stories about them. The game affects cognitive skills, emotional state, and also social skills. The third game, called Directors, is a cooperative board game for the inclusion of people with dementia in which all the players aim to create a theatrical play based on the scenario of the game. Another game called Emotion is a storytelling physical game for the inclusion of people with dementia. It is also physical and digital. It aims to activate emotional recognition and recall memories from the past. It is a cooperative game in which all the players try to guess the emotion of a sound and recall and tell a story about it. Find the Word is a digital game where the player sees photos and outlines and tries to remember where they come from. The player is looking at photos of well-known persons, species, and activities. And the question is, will he or she succeed in recognizing what is depicted on the images? You can download this game from Google Play. Another digital game called Next Destination. The players organize small trips to different destinations in different periods of time and for different reasons and durations. During the game, the player has to select the correct objects to put in his suitcase for specific destinations and trips. A bird watcher roams around the forest. He or she comes around different species of birds and some other objects. Will he or she find the right ones? This is the question of the bird watching digital game. The main concept of this game is that the player has to find similar objects or hidden objects or irrelevant objects while traveling around the path. As I said before, you can download the 4 digital games and also the physical game from Google Play. And of course you can find these games in our website. Now, after we have finished with 8 prototypes games, we tried to test these games and to assess with people with dementia. In game session workshops. What are these workshops? People with dementia and their caregivers, along with the young volunteers and healthcare professionals, meet up to play and test the selected prototypes games, which have been created inspired by them in order to figure out their results. The main differences of the previous workshops that I described in the first part of my presentation, and these workshops, the main difference is that in the game session workshops, there are not game designers, because the main goal is not to create new games, but to test the existing games. The main procedure of the game session workshops, we can include 3 to 4 people with dementia, 2 to 3 caregivers, and 2 to 3 young volunteers, and also 1 or 2 healthcare professionals. The main duration is 2 hours for each workshops, and in each workshop we can test 2 games. In these slides, you can take a look on the main steps of this procedure. Prior to the beginning of the workshops, we gather demographic data, and we provide an information sheet. After that, we create the mixed groups, and we explain the rules of the first games. Then we play the first game. Then we explain the rules of the second games, and we play the second game. And of course, after this chance to play the games, so we need to evaluate the games through a question. However, due to the COVID-19, we change this implementation process, and we find alternatives way in order to implement these workshops. And finally, in the period from October 2020 until January 2021, we implement face-to-face workshops with few people, also face-to-face sessions with healthcare professionals in order to test these safe games. We sent the digital games to caregivers to play with dementia at home and send their feedback, and also create small groups and play the games digitally. Some results of the implementation of the game session workshops in these 3 different countries. Finally, 47 participants took part, 23 people with dementia, 4 carers, 3 young people, 17 care professionals. And in this table, we include how many participants tested each game. As we can see, each game has been tested from a lot of participants. The feedback from these game session workshops, participants said that the workshop was interesting. People appeared to enjoy with games. The participants didn't find any difficulty, and no changes to the workshop. It was introduced to make it easier. They underlined that it is very important for them to take part in similar workshops because they feel isolated and with more cognitive dysfunctions after the period of quarantine. The feedback for the games, most participants agreed that they liked the theme of the game. It was enjoyable playing the game. It was easy to understand the rules. They didn't encounter many difficulties due to the size of cards, letters, images. They didn't encounter many difficulties due to the rules. And of course, they proposed changes and improvements. And now we are in this stage in which we try to adopt these proposed changes in the final 8 prototype games. I will share with you some quotes of the participants. They said that the game emotion gives me the opportunity to get to know myself better. What made me having fun was not the game itself, but the moment of sharing, doing something together. These workshops were an enjoyable way to cultivate my cognitive skills. I need to take part in similar workshops because I feel isolated and with more cognitive dysfunctions after the period of quarantine. Now, as I said before, we try to make improvements to our games and also to finish with the e-learning platform in which we will include these games. Also, this platform will include the results and the activities from all the steps that we follow in this project. In this platform, we will include also some mocks, which will provide information about project briefs, the goals of the project, and the information about the partners, information about dementia, the development of serious games to treat symptoms with dementia. The target audience of these courses are anyone who wants to learn about dementia and its symptoms, people with dementia and how to support people with dementia, caregivers and healthcare professionals, game designers that want to learn about serious games and how to develop serious games for people with dementia, and anyone who wants to extend their knowledge and expand their horizon. And in the slides, you can take a look on the main lessons of these MOOCs. The first lessons, how to use the course. The second lesson, some more details about dementia. In the third lesson, we shared more information about the workshops. In the fourth lesson, we included details about the specification of games, the criteria for evaluation of games. In lesson 5, you can find 8 presentations which explain how to play each game. And the last lesson, it is an evaluation questionnaire on the platform. You can find more details about this project and on our website, and also you can send me any mails if you have any more questions.
Okay, that's the presentation of Dr. Marina Makri, and she's available online. If you have any questions, then you can ask her directly. Any questions for Dr. Makri? Okay, there's a question from Dr. Wu.
Yes, Professor Marina Makri. This is a very interesting project. I want to inquire you that do the project have a questionnaire about the cognitive function such as an NASE questionnaire to test cognitive function? It is need to do this test.
Your question is about the cognitive function and if we check this cognitive
Yes.
function.
Yes.
Yes, through some questionnaires. And we also we use neuropsychological assessment to these patients in the first phase before these workshops and these co-creation sessions, and after these co-creation sessions. So we try to collect some data from their cognitive functions.
Okay. Is the result show that the cognitive function has improved after the workshop?
The main results shows that the cognitive function is remaining stable, but there is an improving at their emotions and their psychological mood.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's a very interesting project.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions, Dr. Makri? You can raise your hand, or else you can write your question in the chat box, or else you can directly ask Dr. Makri.
Can share also my email. Anyone have any more question and can send it to me.